Hi, my name is Alain Cardon. I'm a master's certified coach, validated by the International Coach Federation a number of years back, and we're here in Romania. And this is
I'm Paul Badea. I'm CEO of BADSI, which is the biggest Nissan dealership in Romania. And we're talking about coaching and leadership and how do they mix. So, okay, I already coach, or I think I do, my employees. But how about coaching your family, your friends? Can you do that?
well, in a way, if you coach your employees, you could say you have part of the answer. In other words, if you train to become a coach, you develop reflexes and instincts and so on, and obviously it goes into the rest of your life. So you may get in a situation, I don't know, I would say even in a restaurant, suddenly you'll ask a coaching type question, or you'll put yourself in a coaching mode with different people, although there's not a contract.
Yeah.
So the whole idea, of course, is what do you mean when you say, can you coach? And if you say it means doing the profession, in other words, start establishing a contract and then get paid for it, well, usually you don't do that in your family.
Yeah.
And it's a bit tricky doing it with friends. No, it's also tricky doing it when you're involved, because if you're part of the situation and part of the problem, like for instance being a manager, and you're putting yourself as the coach of the people and they pay you, well, they're already, they're not going to pay you. On the other hand, you can accompany them in conversations so they get to think. So I would say you naturally use coaching skills in different places, and with friends, and maybe with your children and so on. Now you're not getting paid for it. Now it's still a bit tricky, I would say. I have a personal experience of a friend who asked me if I could coach him, and I said, no, I don't coach friends, but we can have a conversation, and it's normal for friends to allot time to each other. And so I ended up spending a number of hours with this person who was going through a lot of things, and I really appreciated, the friendship and sharing with him. And at the end, he said, how much do I owe you? And I said, it was very clear that I'm doing this out of friendship and not as a profession. But I love to smoke cigars, and in a way with friends you exchange, presents, and so I made it like a present, and he gave me some cigars. Of course, nowhere near my coaching fee, but that was not the idea. So I think it's kind of tricky for a leader also in an organization to say you're formally coaching when you're having a relationship with somebody is kind of changing your hat. But to have a meeting on some project or some issue and putting yourself in a coaching mode, creating the space for the person to think and develop and have ownership and so on, is definitely a good idea. It's part of the leadership skill. So it's a sort of fuzzy area. Now, if you were as a leader coaching somebody who had a problem with you, I guess even more fuzzy. So. And it's the same thing in a family. If there's a serious problem in the family between the kids and the parents and so on, especially during teenage years and so on, I would suggest considering getting an external coach or getting a personal coach, either a family coach or a personal coach for the parents or a personal coach for the children, somebody who would be outside of the problem. It's hard to be, be part of the problem and part of the solution if you're involved.
Well, in my experience, I do two types of coaching with my employees. One of which is coaching in meetings, which is more like using coaching skills in meetings. The other one is coaching them on personal issues, which I find a lot more resourceful and a lot more fluent in terms of a coaching relationship, because I'm not involved. I have no intention. I can really be present without mixing my own feelings with his situation. So that may be a way of doing it.
What kind of personal issue would it be, for instance?
Well, maybe family issue.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, or one example was that one of my employees was having a hard time getting in tune with himself. I noticed it in the working context. I noticed that it's not related to the working context, and we started talking about his issue, and it was a lot more fluent than any other work-related conversation.
Now, I'm kind of surprised, because it means they have quite a lot of trust in you, and there's a good trust relationship, because they're actually opening up to a dimension that usually people don't open up with their boss.
Yeah.
Because they look at the boss's hat and they don't look at the person. So you actually, if you're capable of doing that with some people, I mean, you have a pretty good person-to-person relationship, and they'll open up. So that sort of defines your organization and the way you manage it in quite an interesting light.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much, and thank you for your time.
Yes, you're welcome.